The reason you keep relapsing is because you know that there are problems and there are situations in your life that you know you need to face, but you aren't facing. If you don't know me, my name is Krishna, and I help young men quit their porn addictions by teaching the lessons that I personally learned throughout my journey. And so, when I was most addicted to porn, right, when I was relapsing every single day, I was using the relapses, I was using the porn to get away from the problems of my real life. What was happening in my real life was childhood trauma, right? There was abuse going on in the household. I was depressed. And so when you not only have external negativity, right, from your abuser, trauma and stuff like that, but you also have internal negativity like your poor mental health, your depression. You need something to cling to. You need something to cope. You need something to use to escape this reality that you're living in, right? I remember there was this one time when I can't even remember what my dad was yelling at me for, right? Because it was my dad that abused me, but I don't know. I think I didn't do some homework that was due at some time, right? I just forgot to do it. Straight away, this guy just starts yelling, he starts threatening violence, right? He starts throwing stuff everywhere. He starts throwing stuff at you as well. Maybe even hits you a little bit. I remember one time when I was really, really young. This is just me listing a couple of examples of the type of events that would happen. I was sitting on the couch next to my mom, and he came home at 6, maybe 6:30 p.m. And so he walks in, he says hi to my brother, and then he eventually goes to my mom. And they start talking. They start talking about how his day was, some things that are going on in the house, whatever. And I can't exactly remember what I said, but I think I said something slightly disrespectful to him. And instead of, looking at me and saying, hey, it's not nice to say that, apologize, etc., etc. Straight away, he picks me up by my shirt. He throws me against the wall, right? He starts hitting me. He starts punching me. He starts threatening me. He says, why did you say that? He says, you suck, etc. Right? He says those things. Because of that, that's just one event that I listed. There was more, of course, but when you're living in that type of environment, you're not getting the love and the safety that you receive. You need something to escape to, right? And during this period of time, quite frankly, I was a loser, right? I was skinny, I was depressed. All I did was play video games and fap all the time. All of that creates a negative self-image in and of itself. That combined with the trauma, what do you think I'm going to escape to, right? Escapism is a very common thing when it comes to porn addiction, when it comes to having an addiction in general, because it's not the addiction that's the problem, it's what you're using the addiction to run away from. That's the problem, right? And we use addiction to escape the harsh reality that we live in, right? If you look at a bunch of alcoholics, a lot of them do have poor mental health. A lot of them have problems that are going on in their real life, right? They might be depressed, they might be poor, right? They might be impoverished. They might be, again, in abusive households, right? Then what starts to happen is that the addiction becomes the highlight of our life. It becomes something that we actually look forward to, right? We look forward to doing that thing. And not only is the addiction highly addictive, we also look forward to doing it, and we don't change our conditions, right? Because sometimes we can't change our conditions. We can't exactly change the condition that we live in. When I was 9 years old, I was getting abused by my dad. I couldn't exactly move out of the house, right? All of this combined together is a recipe for disaster, right? Because it's not just it's not just one big thing in and of itself. It's actually a combination of several factors. And so not only that, but when we are, quite frankly, just losers in real life, right? Then porn becomes the one place where we can feel a sense of accomplishment. Because if we just look at this from a purely evolutionary psychology perspective. Us ejaculating, right? That fulfills one of the big parts of male life, which is to pass down our genes into the next generation so that we can continue our bloodline. Right? That's actually, it's technically speaking, biologically, it's a significant achievement. And so our body, from a physiology perspective, is like, hey, this guy has fulfilled the main parts of male life. Let's pump him full of prolactin, right? Let's make him tired so that he can recharge and then do it again the next day. Right? And so that gives you a sense of accomplishment, in a sense. But the thing is that it accomplishes nothing. Right? I was a complete loser. I was skinny, I was depressed, I had poor mental health. All I did was play video games all day, literally for 13, 14 hours a day. I would watch porn for multiple hours of the day. But that was a place where I could get accomplishment, and also where I could get the unconditional love and the safety that I never received. So all of those things combined together. Why do you relapse then, right? Well, you relapse because the environment that you live in, the conditions of your reality, are too painful to bear. They're too painful for you to face. So instead of facing them, you escape to something that you want, that gives you a sense of pleasure and love and safety and an illusion of intimacy, right? Also gives you a sense of accomplishment. But it's all fake. It's all fake. And it doesn't last, does it? Because right after you bust, right after you relapse, how do you feel? The feelings are still there. The shame, the guilt is still there. The emptiness is still there. The reality that you have to face, it's still there, right? All you've done is just numb yourself for a few minutes. You have to face that reality, whatever that is for you. It could be depression, it could be poor mental health, it could be PTSD, trauma, whatever it is. You have to face it, right? You have to find healthier ways to cope, because I get it. Life sucks, right? Life can be quite miserable. Life can be quite painful. There's a lot of suffering, I understand. But there's better ways to cope than just numbing yourself even more. Actually, it's going to make the pain worse, right? It is going to make the pain worse, because porn will remind you after every single time you do it, hey, this is your reality. And you do feel intense feelings of shame and guilt and emptiness afterwards. So your actionable step for you, I would just say, is to start living in real life a little bit more. Maybe just go outside for a walk and just appreciate nature, right? That was one of the things I did. And it really helped. It really did help bring that appreciation back for the world. No phone, no music, no distractions, just you alone in nature, right? That is honestly a way, way better way to cope than watching porn, of course. If you find that these videos are helpful for you, and you want to go more in depth into the actual step-by-step system that's all laid out for you that you can use to quit porn and become the person that you want to be, I have a program. It has 5 main phases that you can follow, 5 key steps that you just follow in order so that you can actually quit porn. And so if you're interested in that, then you can go and you can click the link in the description down below. Take care, bro.